The idea of being a creative person, you got to be a human being first. It's weird. It's like we have this relationship that has developed over time. But as it develops, it seems like with the passage of time that the nature of you and I changes. So when we sit down to do this, you and I are different people than we were several weeks ago. And so when we sit down to try to relate to each other, I'm talking to a new Emily and there's a new Dan. I mean, not like in this, like, oh my God, I'm a new man or something like that, but
every week you're a different version of yourself. You're a more evolved, informed
I
person.
feel I definitely, because we've talked about stuff that's been personal.
Yeah.
If someone's listening right now, if this makes it into it, I don't think we've ever, maybe only sort of defined what's going on here. I'm old as fuck, right?
No.
And you are not. So I'm in my mid 60s. You are in your late 20s. And on paper, it should be like a hi, how you doing? What's going on?
Hello, sir.
Hey, so would you, should be a little bit more Mr. Votto instead of, so I can tell you, just call me Dan. Well, I remember what my first name is. Right? Yeah. And so, and then, I should say, what's your name again? And all that kind of things. Like, who are you? We on paper don't really have anything in common. On paper, I think that we have developed something of an interesting relationship, just for lack of a better way of putting it. And I told you, I think a long time ago, I don't believe in the notion that something can make you happy or make you sad.
Yeah, you've told me that.
I have told you that. And maybe I haven't said that here. I define it. It's not that I am not capable of being happy, or that I'm not capable of being sad or angry or whatever. What I do believe is that those emotions belong to me. And the minute I jump in there and say, you made me mad, or you made me happy, I'm giving you power over how I feel, and I won't do that. I can choose to be happy. I can choose to be angry. I can choose to be sad. And I am all of those things. But again, those things belong to me, and I won't let anyone convince me that they have that power over me. So how does that relate to the idea of being a creative person and trying to find a sense of something?
A sense of something?
Yeah. You wrote your book.
I did. I was thinking about that recently, about the state of mind in which I wrote the book.
Well, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So you wrote your book, and your idea was?
I had lost that job, and I had decided that I was going to make it a good thing that I had lost the job. Uh-huh. That I was going to...
Wait. Tell people what was the job you lost, because they're not in your head right now.
I was a marketing manager. It was kind of a corporate setting. There was a lot of emails and meetings, and in the meetings we did a lot of, let's circle back, let's do this in a one-on-one. For people who maybe have ever had a corporate job, most of the job is just creating problems so you can solve them later, right? Mm-hmm. And I lost that job. They were moving the funding away from my skill set, which is social media.
So you wrote your book.
I wrote my book. I think about now the way that I woke up, and I would just write, and I was so singular in my vision. I think maybe possibly one could call that book writing excursion like a slightly manic episode.
Only slightly?
But I don't think I was writing it out of love for myself. I think I was writing it out of a desperation to prove something. It wasn't coming from in here. And when I go back now, I reread it for the first time in like 2 months recently. Mm-hmm. I was so mad when I was reading it, and all of the stories are about someone did something to me and I'm a victim, which we've talked about too, victimhood, right?
Right.
I saw myself lacking power in every story that I told. I saw myself saying, I am powerless, and that is why you should feel bad for me as the reader. Mm-hmm. You should see, yes, I'm a girl who's 28 and I have no job, and it's not my fault. all of this stuff happened to me. But at the same time, I'm proving my case that I'm beautiful with words and that I am talented and that I am driven because I'm going to write this book. It was this big conversation with myself and with this imaginary audience that was like watching me and judging me. So
the point I was going to get to is this. So you did that book and
I felt very good about myself.
You put a lot of work into it. You set a goal, you made that book, you printed it, you got it out there, and for that you felt good. I guess the point that I was making is that you hopefully assumed ownership of those feelings, right? You allowed yourself to be happy when you were done, and you allowed yourself to be even happier when people responded positively to it.
Yeah.
And then when I come in and say what I said, and just kind of shrug my shoulders at it, that generated another feeling. But those are your feelings.
Yeah.
And I think those things are the things that you build upon to create art that can actually affect people. Because if you're not feeling all those feelings, like internalizing and owning and whatever, then you're never going to be able to really write another thing that will have impact.
Wait, let me repeat that back because that sounds important.
Yeah.
If you're not owning your feelings surrounding your creativity, then you are not building a foundation for yourself to continue building on?
Yeah. The idea is not to always feel joy. The idea is just to feel.
Ooh.
What people do as artists is get people to feel something. How they feel is going to be personal to them. You wrote the book and it was sort of an emotional info dump.
Yeah.
Right? And you got that all out of your system. And that probably brought you a feeling of happiness. But that's what you went for. Your sole goal was to feel good about yourself when you wrote that book.
I thought it was just a little thing I'm going to make and put out there, and then maybe one day it'll be interesting.
And for me, what I see is that was your first step, and you're going to have a second, and you're going to have a third, and you're going to keep doing it. And that will be the thing that will bring you even more happiness. Is no one piece of work is ever going to be that thing that defines you as an artist. It's the whole body of work. And the feelings that come out of it for you as an individual should always be a sense of happiness because you've completed it.
Yeah.
That sense of completion, that sense of accomplishment. And if you're just doing it and doing it and doing it so much that you're not feeling anything anymore, then you got to stop.
And you've seen that?
Yeah. I see a lot of people in the comics world. I've seen a lot of people who do comics for the sake of doing them. And I'm like, what are you even saying anymore? This isn't even funny. This isn't anything. I mean, I don't say that all the time, but when someone asks, I go like, I just, do something else. I mean, not necessarily like don't do comics, but do a comic about something else. You're doing this thing over and over and over and over again. Like, who gives a shit anymore? Nobody. I mean, unless it's selling like a ton, then that's why you're doing it. And then that satisfaction you get is from cashing a check. Mm-hmm. But you look at the things that make a mark, and people are trying to say something in their writing or in their comics or whatever it might be that they're doing, short filmmakers. You're trying to make a statement. You're trying to like take a part of you and put it out there for people to see. Telling an interesting story that maybe comes from your own experience that you've filtered through all your other experiences, and now here we are, right?
I think there's something really hot out of the oven that we're passing back and forth, both trying to make sense of right now.
Yeah.
And it has to do with feeling when you're making art, and how there's this negotiation between the artist is feeling something, and that is what's going into the art. That's what it's made of. And then they're giving it to the audience who are also feeling things, and it's transforming. There's something transformative about the emotional output to the emotional input. To make art, you have to be with your feelings. You have to own your feelings. And we live in a society that does not really make it accessible to sit with your feelings.
Yeah.
Even like me, if I get really anxious, I grab my phone and I watch videos.
That's what most people do.
Some people, they have a feeling, so they open a bottle of wine. And I'm not here to diagnose like the issues with, modern day America and how we process our emotions. Mm-hmm. But I think what I have learned is that when I have a bad feeling that I don't want to feel, my art suffers. I think recently, like it's 2025 now, and things have kind of sucked, and I have felt kind of bad. And I have not felt very creative. I haven't had that same, like, voracious energy to create. I find more roadblocks because there are feelings that you have to wade through to get to the other side, where you have to process the feeling before you can put it into the piece of art.
The idea of being a creative person, you gotta be a human being first. We've talked about you need to have something to say. You can just do it for the sake of doing it, and that's fine too. You know, a lot of people do that, but you need to be a human being, and you have to be unafraid to share what you feel. You know, you need to be brave sometimes. I talked about how there earlier when we started this about there's things I won't write because I don't want to get involved in that memory of, I would prefer people remember things the way they remember them. And so there you go. So maybe I stay away from truth, and that's cowardly and not very artistic, and maybe prevents me from being really good at what I do instead of sort of good.
Have you been feeling braver?
No.
No?
Not at all. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I'm more mindful now.
Why?
Because we sit and we talk, and I self-edit. Well, we both do, I think, to a certain degree. But I self-edit, and I was like, I just don't want to, I don't want to go there. I think the big thing is just, you just got to feel, and you need to make other people feel, and those people will feel what they want. You can't be upset because they felt something different than what you intended.
I'm thinking about how maybe the reason that we got stuck on joy when we were trying to talk about feelings was that joy is one of the only feelings we're comfortable showing to people, right?
Yeah. People don't want to see the sad you. People are not interested in your pain. I mean, they are if they can view it through some third-party lens. People
largely, like, not you and me anymore, but if I had come in the first day and I'd been like, I am so fucking scared and sad, you would have been like, this is
Get away from me, yeah. This is way above my pay grade.
So it's hard, so we shut that down. Coming from a corporate setting, there's only one way that you can really show up in a corporate setting. You can show up, like, collected, safely funny, and, like, confident and happy to be there. So happy to be working your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So joyful to be sending emails, right? And so we wear all these, like, fake versions of ourselves to hide the fact that we have feelings that are kind of sticky and ugly and complicated.
But that's just it, though. I mean, you have those feelings. If you're starting out in life as an artist, or as anything, right? And you're right, you're going to go into that. Everyone expects you to have the 9 to 5. Everyone expects you to have it. You have to have it. Around here, you just have to have something, because otherwise you're living on the street, and there's no way to feel any joy from that. Some people, they blow out their 9 to 5, whatever, by playing handball or going to the gym, doing whatever. And all that stuff is great, but I think it sort of internalizes the frustrations that people feel when you're just trying to push it down. I think that if you bring it out, it doesn't matter. Can you sing? No. Do it anyways. Do you know how to play the guitar? No, learn how. And then do something. Can you paint? Who gives a shit? Paint. Put it up for people to see. Take the criticism. I talked about that before.
Yeah.
You gotta just love the fucking criticism. There's the people that come in and say, you suck. You absolutely 1,000% have zero talent. And you can look back and say, thanks, but I did something.
Yeah.
And someone's going to come along and say, this is great. And you can either accept that and say, okay, they're an idiot, or because it's not. But if you're going to express yourself creatively, to take the things that are inside you and put them out there, sometimes you will create greatness. Sometimes.
But to get there, you got to create
you got to step on a lot of dog shit if you're going to walk through a fucking meadow. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm going to go run through the flowers barefoot. That sounds great until you fucking put a rock through the bottom of your foot.
You're going to walk in the meadow. You're going to step in poop. And you got to take all that.
You got to expect there's going to be poop. or rocks or a fucking scorpion.
It's not going to be comfortable all the time, but to get to the place that you're going,
you
got to take it.
Just because there's dog shit in the meadow doesn't mean the meadow's not beautiful. Wipe it off and keep walking.
So keep your eyes on where you're going.
Yes.
Don't get hung up on the fact that this particular step was poopy.
You have the ability now that people didn't have 30 years ago to exist creatively on the internet. You don't need distribution. You don't need to go to a printer and print up posters or whatever. I mean, you can, but you don't need to.
It's complicated in its own way, which we've talked a lot about. But
if you're doing this because you want people to love you, guess what? No one has to love you. No one. No one has to love you. No one has to show you kindness. No one needs to be nice to you. No one is obligated to do anything other than give you the simple respect you are entitled to as a human being. You can't get into something wanting the spotlight, wanting to be loved. You are setting yourself up for failure. And then when you feel bad, when you have failed, the bad feeling is coming from you. You wrote a book but let's just say instead of us forming a relationship, I handed it back to you and said, this is complete and utter garbage and never, ever fucking set foot in this place again. Which I wouldn't have done, but let's just say I did that. Let's just say I did that. And you felt bad. And you felt bad because I did that. But you needed to expect that reaction. Not because what you did was shit, but not everybody's going to love your work. And if you're doing something simply because you want people to love you, that's not why you create. You create because you have something to say. You create because you need to create. There are plenty of people who are doing work for hire, doing here, I'm just going to do this thing and pop it out there, and who gives a shit? A lot of people do that. I'm talking about art, capital A. I'm talking about joy, capital J. And I'm talking about sorrow and misery and unhappiness, all with capital letters. And you own every single one of those things. Every single one is yours and yours alone. And because of that, once you own those things, you can do great things.
So we get to a space where we can hold the sorrow or the fury or the joy, and we can create there, and we can be in that space temporarily, but at some point, ideally you show it to someone. I kind of find that it's other people like reacting to something speeds up the process of me losing the inspiration for the thing.
I understand what you said, but you have to understand back that's what other people think isn't what slowed down your process. It's how you felt about it.
I slowed down my process.
You slowed down your process.
I gave them the power.
You gave them power over you. You gave the audience power over you. It's like you got whatever reaction it was that you did or didn't want, and then you allowed it to affect the act of doing it or doing more of it. Just do. You work in a field of social media and marketing, right? You have plenty of opportunities to do shit that means nothing to you other than you want to do a good job so that you can stay employed. And unfortunately, your thing, that thing, is couched in how creative can you be. And
my thing being the social media management?
Or just marketing in general. Yeah. So one of the things that's really interesting is you're working in marketing and you are doing whatever, you're doing social media at this point, and your boss, whoever it is that you're reporting to, is going to expect something that came from a real, genuine place. Like, I want you to sell my soap in a way that makes people cry. Right? Mm-hmm. That's not fair. You know? It's not fair at all. What your boss should be saying is like, are more people looking at this? Are more people sampling this? Your boss is going to want you to come in here and create a genius fucking ad campaign for a shitty fucking product, and you can't get people to eat shit forever. That's not fair. And that's a waste of your, not a waste because you have to do it, but it's, you cannot be expected to put your soul into selling cereal. Where your soul belongs is in taking all that experience of selling cereal, taking all the experience, every heartbreak you've had, if you have the ability and the desire and the willingness to be better. Every heartbreak that you have, every happiness that you have, everything you've ever felt, when you sit down to put it on a piece of paper, to put it out there for other people, that's real. And if someone rejects it, you can't let that kill you. Because as long as you're being real, as long as you're being honest, you know, as long as you felt good about doing that, as long as you are putting forth your best, most honest effort in the art that is yours, terrific. Feel joy. You earned it.
That seems to be the lesson we keep coming back to.
Yeah.
And it's important, and I think it needs to be repeated. It's hard. I block paths in my own creative journey because I'm just so afraid of feeling the bad feelings.
Don't. I know everyone is. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But you mean bad feelings come from everywhere, right?
Yeah, but the big bad feelings.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be afraid of it. Just own it. Just own it.